Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. There's a little something on my sweatshirt. I don't know what this is. A stain. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Hello, how are you guys? Hi. It's good to be here with you guys. Hello from the Netherlands. Where are you guys from? Where are you guys tuning in from? I just wanted to talk about this evolution we're going through right now. Hello, Berlin. Yay, your bus is fixed. I love and appreciate you too, Kat. Hi from England and Nashville, the UK. Thank you, Thomas Earl Spears for the badge. Thank you so much. Thank you, Moonstar9 for the badge. From Florida, Sweden, Utah, the East Bay, yay, Toronto. Oh, you swam with the dolphins, awesome, yay, I love that. Okay, I wanted to talk a little bit about what some of you may be experiencing. Hi from India, hi from Serbia. Thank you so much, E Alchemist, for the badge. I want to share, I was in the shower this morning and I was thinking about how, why am I continuing to be called to share so much of my own personal experience of what I'm going through? Most people don't necessarily do that if they're, in the teaching spirituality. They don't necessarily talk about their own internal, deep internal shadow work and their own evolution, their own transformations. We typically show up and show aspects of ourselves, percentages, right? So you watch a powerful teacher on stage and they're only showing you a certain aspect of them, the teacher aspect or the whatever aspect it is, right? But no, it's not the whole container. And I understand why we don't do that. There are parts of ourselves that are private. There are parts of our lives that are private. Completely respect that. But for whatever reason, I keep being guided to continue to show up in as vulnerable and as raw of a place as possible as I am currently navigating these shifts with you guys. Because none of us are above this. None of us are outside of this. None of us are in such an evolved state that we aren't actually experiencing these energetic shifts. It's impossible. This is a transformation that is occurring in the physical body. And if you have a physical body, it is transforming, it is evolving, it is shifting, it is becoming multidimensional. And that can look very different for a lot of different people. But for a majority of us, what it requires and what it means is that in order for us to reach our souls, in order for us to reach the light that we are, that, so many people like to talk about, you are light, you are energy, you are consciousness. In order to actually touch that and to start to live from that place, you have to go deep into your own programming. You have to go deep into the subtle and not so subtle limiting thoughts that continue to pop up. You have to go deep into that which you have numbed yourself out of most of your life. Especially if you are somebody that says, oh, everything is fine, and you can't even grab limiting thoughts. You can't even grab uncomfortable emotional states, right? Because you have learned how to numb yourself from the world. The transformation, the vibrational shifts that are occurring are energetic, and they are going to rattle. They're going to pull out. They're going to shift whatever it is that is covering up the purest connection to your soul, to your spirit, to your light, to your consciousness. So that at some point down the road, you are able to be the multidimensional human. And the multidimensional human is the one that is able to stand in a dense third-dimensional matrix while simultaneously connecting deep into their soul and spirit, no longer programmed by the paradigms that they live in, the programs that we live in, the limiting beliefs that we have absorbed, the limiting thoughts that we have absorbed, the emotional states that we give power to because we don't want to feel, right? The ways in which the third dimensional human has lived, we have to shift out of while we simultaneously physically stand here. And so it would be a disservice, a deep disservice, if I were to just teach about this and not share my own personal experiences of this process. And the reason that a lot of us don't do this in front of an audience of people is because it's very vulnerable and raw, and there is a lot of judgment that even we have about ourselves. If I am a teacher and I have all of this knowledge, I shouldn't. I should know how to get through this. If I show an audience my wounded my wounded parts that are asking to be released, what does that say about me as this teacher? That's a big, big paradigm. It's a deep, deep paradigm. And I refuse to perpetuate it. I refuse. I can't perpetuate this idea that I am only going to show up and teach and channel and provide, powerful information and messages and not show you what it's like for me to go through the same evolution that you're going through. Because it's no nonsense pantyhose. This is no nonsense. And I will call out anyone that is not in some way, shape, or form experiencing some sort of rattling within them. And it's a matter of whether you are allowing that rattling to transform you by surrendering to it, or if you are having to sort of keep your life together because you have to show up for work and you have to show up for your family and you have to show up in your relationships, and you keep yourself really busy. And so the more busy that we are, the less we will actually understand and feel what is truly happening inside of our bodies. And to each their own. Everyone's going to go through this in their own way. I have been gifted with this life that my sole focus is on this process. That is the only reason I'm here on the planet, is to dissect this process. And then to talk about it, teach it, share it. I don't have a very complicated, busy life for a reason, right? But this is happening to everyone. I don't care who you are. It's happening to all of us. This is the evolution in human consciousness. And the more that we talk about it, the more that we bring it to light, the more that we discuss the challenges, the ups and downs, the holy shit, how are you doing today? And the more that we remember what this is and that we courageously stay in it, the easier, quote unquote, easier it will be to navigate it. And I think it's extremely important right now because there is definitely a collective energy. Thank you so much for the badges. There is definitely a collective energy right now of powerful insecurity and unworthiness. And there was a part of me last night, this like conspiracy theory part of me last night that was like, because this is an energetic war, quote unquote war, okay? This is an energetic sort of battle that's happening right now with energies on the planet. And there was a part of me that was like, are we being like inundated with this really intense insecurity and doubt and lack and unworthiness right now, right? Because it's just like getting so intense. And I didn't necessarily get the answer. But what I did tap into is that the more that we perpetuate this paradigm of comparing ourselves to other people, okay, saying that they have it all together and I don't. If they're talking about these things and they're looking all happy and glorious, then there must be something wrong with me because I'm not. I need to fix it. I need to change myself, right? And especially with social media, it is so detrimental to our own personal evolution, because most people will only show you what they want you to see in them. You know, they're not going to show up messy and dirty and in their raw, vulnerable moments of healing or deep, deep shadow. They're just not, right? It's not pretty. And so they show up in certain aspects. And then what we do is we watch them and then we judge ourselves, because we're like, well, wait a second. What's wrong with me? Why am I still feeling this? Why am I still in this? Right? Why is this still happening? So we have to pay attention to this, you guys. We need to pay attention to that deep programming of comparison. If everybody just showed up in all of who they were, do you realize, like, I'm talking about, like, think of like the most somebody that you just look up to and you think they have it all together, right? Like they've got their shit together, right? And every time you watch them, you're like, damn, they understand the world and they're in this beautiful state of enlightenment. And imagine if they were to show up and be like, you know, my life is a shit show behind the scenes. I am struggling with this and I'm dealing with this. It would crumble this idea of somebody being above you. It would crumble the idea that they are higher than you. It would crumble that. It would bring you to this awareness of, wait, there's nothing wrong with me, right? Hold on a second. If they're feeling the same way I am, there's nothing wrong with me. But we don't do that. People don't do that. And so all we're doing is perpetuating this deep, very unhealthy paradigm of I'm only going to show this part of me so that you can only see this part of me. And then what it does is it makes the viewer feel like shit. It does. It's just a paradigm in this third dimensional world. Pay attention to that, you guys. Stop putting people on pedestals. Stop thinking that just because people are showing up in a certain way, that is how they're living their lives. Because you're beating yourself up if you do that, because you're looking at yourself saying something's wrong with me. You know, one of the greatest things that you can do for yourself right now, as you're moving through these shifts and as you are becoming more and more aware of your thoughts, and you can't look away. Right? It's almost like you are now in this, you have broken free of a prison and you're now in a louder prison of this dimensional field that is so full of programming, right? So you were in this small prison you didn't even realize you were in. You broke out and awakened into this larger prison. And now you're like, holy shit, this prison that I'm in now is intense. It's insane. Wow. I've got all of this deep conditioning that I now need to slowly or quickly peel myself out of. Tiny little limiting beliefs are going to drop in throughout the day, right? Tiny little limiting thoughts are going to drop in. Emotions are going to pop up and you're going to be like, where'd that come from? I don't want to feel that. Be aware of, I don't want to feel that, right? Why? The second you say, I don't want to feel that, is the moment that you are attaching to that emotion. I am that emotion. The moment you say, I don't want to feel this, means that you believe that you are it. This is a bad thought. You're attaching to the thought. You believe that you're the thought. You see, your soul, your spirit, your consciousness is underneath all of this. It's underneath all the limiting thoughts. It's underneath all of the limiting beliefs. It's underneath all of the addictive behaviors. It's underneath all of the emotional states that are stuck in your body that just want to be felt. It's underneath all of that, which means that it's always here. The you that you have always been, that light, that spark, that essence, the part of you that is eternal, that goes on and on and on, the part of you that chose to be in the physical body right now, because it wasn't the ego and it wasn't the person listening to me right now. There is a deeper part of you that chose to be here. There is a soul, a spirit, a consciousness in you. And it is suffocated by the human journey. And you can't bypass your way into that soul, that spirit, that light, just by meditating or just by going and sitting in some cave or on some powerful portal somewhere and just trying to vibrate yourself into that space. You have to physically shift, which is what you're doing right now. You have to physically shift the vibration in your body, and the way you physically shift it is that all of the densities that are covering up the light of who you are, the soul, your consciousness, your spirit, has to be felt by you. There has to be an awareness of it so that you can see it, so that you can then feel it, so that you can then courageously shift it. That's what's happening to every single one of you. That's what it means to be multidimensional. What does it mean to be multidimensional human? It means that you stand in a physical reality, living a physical life as a consciousness that is not physical, integrating and being in both a physical state and an energetic state. That's what you're learning. That's what this evolution is all about. How do I remain physical and energetic at the same time? And it's the energetic piece right now that we are stepping into. That's why you can't not feel. That's why you're feeling so much more than you ever have. That's why you feel stuck. That's why you feel like the same things are happening over and over and over again. That's why you feel like you're in loops. That's why you feel like you're not healing. That's why you feel like you're losing your mind. That's why you feel like you're bipolar. That's why you feel like you want to run and hide from the world. That's why you feel like you want to leave the planet. Because you are becoming multidimensional or energetic. You're integrating into the energetic being that you are. You're integrating into energy. That's evolution. Which means that you have to see the densities that are keeping you simply physical. The idea that you are only physical. The idea that you are your thoughts and your emotions and your beliefs and your behaviors. And the judgments that you have around them. Every single time you judge a thought, every single time you judge an emotion, every single time you judge a belief and a behavior, you're anchoring it into your reality. You're holding it down. You're yelling at it. You're telling yourself there's something wrong with you. You shouldn't be feeling this. You shouldn't be thinking this. You're anchoring it. The way that we are designed to go through this is that we observe it and we feel it and we give ourselves permission to have whatever experience we're going to have. This sucks. I hate this. I'm in this again. Oh my God. But you're observing it with your hands in the air and you're simply feeling. You're allowing it. If you are trying to change something, if you're trying to deny something right now that you don't like, Okay? If you're trying to control something you don't like, you are literally stunting the greatest gift that's in front of you. I can't preface this enough, you guys. By me sitting in this deep, deep space of healing, which has been very uncomfortable. I cannot explain how uncomfortable this has been the last 3 to 4 weeks. So uncomfortable, there are no words. Okay? It's very, very uncomfortable. But if you know that in that uncomfortableness is the transformation, it is the vibrational shifts. I'm not in charge of this. I'm not in control. I have choice. I have free will. I have choice. It is your body that is leading you through this. It's your body saying, hey, can you take a look at this really powerful limiting belief that continues to pop up? Can you pay attention to that thing that happened to you when you were 16 years old that really anchored the limiting belief that you're still holding on to? Can you pay attention to the emotional state that just popped up that you don't want to feel? What if you simply just felt everything that popped in, literally, without a judgment or an attachment to it or a thought around it? It just was. It just was. It just is. This just is. Wow, I'm in this right now. It just is. Next. Wow, I really can't stand this limiting thought. It is insane. It is intense. It just is. It is transforming you. It is moving you. It is shifting you. This is the evolution. The evolution is not sitting in meditation, manifesting a beautiful life. That is not evolution. It's not. Evolution is being in the dark. It's transforming the dark into light. That is transformation. That's evolution. We are not evolving from light to light, although it is all light. We are transforming from shadow to light. What is the shadow in this human collective? What is the shadow in this human journey that we have to evolve out of? Lack, fear, unworthiness, conditional love, greed, evil, manipulation, mind control. Right? These are the things that we have to evolve out of. How do you evolve out of it? You have to see it. You have to feel it. And then you have to choose to courageously live in new ways. You cannot bypass the shadow. You cannot. This is not how it works. You can run as much as you want from it. But you are here. We are all here to courageously stand in the darkest crevices of our human experience and burn it so brightly that it turns to light. And how do you burn it? How do you burn the parts of you that you don't want to see? You stand in it. You stop trying to change it. You stop judging it. You realize this is what we do. It's asinine as the human. This is what we do. You've had all these human experiences that have created all these limiting beliefs. Okay, there are deep, deep programs that have convinced you that you are a certain way, right? And your parents told you these things, your teachers told you these things, your relationships told you these things, you've had trauma, you've had all these things that have moved into the body, stored in the body, and created the life that you are currently living. And here's what we do. We judge ourselves. First of all, you had to go to school. Your parents put you into school. You had to sit down in that first grade or second grade. That was part of being human. It's not your fault that you were made fun of. It's not your fault that a teacher yelled at you and told you you were stupid. It's not your fault that your parents did ... or the neighbor did ... Do you realize that this is part of the human experience? But what we do 30 years later is we have collected all of these limiting beliefs and thoughts unconsciously based on what we've gone through in the past. And then we beat ourselves up. I'm such an idiot. Why am I thinking these things? How could I possibly have this limiting belief? How do I not have any love for myself? Why am I so unworthy? Why? Look at the past. Look at what you went through. Look at the world you live in. Look at what everyone's telling you to believe and to think and to feel. Of course we have these things. Of course we have limiting beliefs. Of course we have limiting thoughts. Of course we have addictive behaviors. Are you joking? I'd be surprised if there wasn't a human that didn't have some sort of coping mechanism to get through this intense third-dimensional human journey. We forget how intense this is. It's an intense world. And then when you become more energetic or you start feeling more, it gets even more insane. It gets even more intense. You feel even more. Your only job, my friend, right now. Because the way that we change this world, the way that we free this entire planet, is that we free ourselves first. The reason that there are so many people getting mad at so many people, arguing with so many people, fighting with so many people, is because of their own demons inside of themselves that they don't want to face. And so they project it out onto other people unconsciously. So the way that we create this world that we're here to create is that we first have to do it in our internal worlds. You can do it simultaneously. Most of us are doing it simultaneously. This isn't about solely just focusing on you. Because when you are focused on you and healing you, you heal the world simultaneously. You shift people around you simultaneously. When you start freeing yourself, when you start accepting yourself, when you start accepting all the stuff that you don't like about yourself, guess what you start doing? Accepting what you don't like in other people. The reason that we want to change people, that we want to argue with people, that we want to berate people, that we want to bully people is because we don't like who we are. We don't like what we're feeling and thinking and seeing. And it's deeply unconscious. There is no such thing as anything being worse than something else. Right? You want to pay attention to when you say this is a worse feeling than this. Truly, 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 there is no everything that you feel should just be experienced as that feeling. Seriously. When you feel anger, you shouldn't say to yourself necessarily, forget about shouldn't, but when you feel anger, okay, I'm feeling anger. Anger feels like, at least I'm not feeling, depression. Well, now you just created this massive judgment so that when you do feel, if you feel depression, now you're going to really beat yourself up for feeling depression. Can you start stripping yourself from all judgment around your experiences? It's so subtle that you don't even realize that you're programmed to do it. I'm telling you guys, these programs that are in our minds are so subtle that you don't even realize that even through your healing journey and your transformational journey, there is still deep programming. You want to practice really paying attention to tiny judgments. Judgments around what you're experiencing, okay? Judgments around what you're feeling. This does not mean, because people always twist this. They always twist this. This does not mean that you don't get to have the human experiences. You don't get to have your opinions around it. I've been extremely uncomfortable the last 3 weeks. I get to have all of that. I'm not pretending that I'm not uncomfortable. Not having a judgment around it doesn't mean that you pretend that you're all good feeling this. That's not what this is. It means that you are just simply feeling it. You're in it. It's like you're on a ride and you can't get off. So what are you going to do on the ride? Bitch and moan and complain and be like, I can't believe you're on this ride. How did you get on this ride? You realize you're not supposed to be on this ride. What are you doing? You need to figure out how to get off this ride. I'm on a roller coaster ride. I can't get off it. What's the best way through the ride? Putting your hands up and saying, what am I feeling through the ride? Right? What am I feeling? This sucks. I'm scared. Holy shit. Now what are we going to do? I have no control. Oh my God. You're being honest. Though you want to fully experience the experience of what is in front of you. And you can do that. You can have all of your opinions around it, all of your conniption fits, but you can do it from a state of non-attachment and non-judgment. It's not hard. It's not some guru enlightened status. It's simply saying, what am I feeling? How do I feel it? What am I feeling around it? Okay, let's go. What's next? What else? Imagine that every single time something arises, that you're on a roller coaster ride, you can't get off it. There's nowhere to go. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Are you going to continue to beat yourself up? What's the point? What's the point of continuing to beat yourself up? You can pay attention to those thoughts that are beating you up. Be the observer. Wow, look, I'm beating myself up. Wow, look, I'm beating myself up. Shifting vibrational states is the most courageous thing we can do. And the reason it's the most courageous thing that we can do is because you have to feel and be in energies that you don't want to be in. And you have to feel and be in energies that you think are bad or wrong. And you think that you have to change them or fix them because you have associated them as bad or wrong. The thing that you're forgetting is that the only way to increase your vibrational state in your body is to recognize all of the lower vibrational states that are in there that simply need to be seen, which is observing, felt, which is feeling, and then choice. Am I going to choose to continue? Or am I going to start choosing to step into new? This is a vibrational game. This isn't a control game. The fastest way through is by allowing yourself to feel everything that you don't want to feel. Everything that you label bad. Everything that you label low frequency and low vibration. If you think, God bless everyone that thinks this, but if you think that you can actually change your vibrational state, that's an egoic structure doing that. If you think that you can actually change your vibrational state by doing all these tools and techniques but not looking at the dark, not feeling the uncomfortable, not observing the uncomfortable, the dark, the limiting beliefs, you are going to be in an illusion, in a delusional state for a very long time. You will be fighting against the natural process of evolution. This is not to say, okay, that we don't use tools to assist us in feeling better. I sit in nature every single day. I listen to music that puts me in a vibrational state every day. You know, I do things that allow me to shift that vibrational state, but I'm not doing it in order to take control and move myself out of what is uncomfortable. I'm just doing it side by side with the uncomfortable. Do you understand? It's very, very different. It's subtle, but it's different. For instance, okay, the last couple of weeks, there has been, lots of you know about this, but there has been an unworthiness that has been so incredibly powerful and strong within me in ways that I can't comprehend. It just is. And what am I doing with that? I'm allowing it to have its space. I'm allowing it to come up by just feeling it. I'm observing it. I'm being with it. It's at the dinner table. It's at the lunch table. It's at the breakfast table. I'm not anchoring into it as if I am the unworthiness. I'm observing the unworthiness as it comes up throughout my day. Then I simultaneously sit in nature every day. I am not trying to sit in nature and meditate so that the unworthiness goes away. Quite the opposite. I am trying to amplify the unworthiness so that I can gain the gift of the unworthiness. If I try to get rid of the unworthiness as if I know how to do it, I am believing that I am this like God that knows how to shift dark into light, and we don't yet. We're too much in an egoic structure still. We don't like uncomfortable. If you like the uncomfortable, then you will watch yourself shift very quickly. But most of us don't like the uncomfortable. And if you don't like uncomfortable, you're going to tell yourself that you know how to shift yourself out of it. That's a trick. You are missing the greatest gift that uncomfortable has. So I simultaneously sit with this uncomfortable unworthiness that is so loud that it is convincing me of so much. It's overwhelming. And then I sit in nature. I breathe. I watch the trees move. I listen to the birds. I am not trying to get rid of anything. I'm not trying to heal anything. I'm not trying to dissect anything. I'm simply being with it all. Because the natural process, you guys, of this evolution is that it naturally shifts. It naturally shifts. There's tons of people, there's tons of teachers that have amazing tools and techniques. Amazing tools and techniques to shift and to heal you. What I'm saying is that it's a natural process that is done energetically, not by you. It's done energetically. And what we're going to find in the next 5 to 10 years is that all the things that you thought that you had healed and cleared are going to keep coming up. Because it isn't until we completely surrender and let go of trying to even heal, and we simply let the natural process of quantum physics, energy, do this for us, will we truly find ourselves out of the deep, deep programs, trauma, limiting beliefs. They will continue to surface. because we cannot control this. And that is the hardest thing for most humans to accept. Because control is one of the only things that allows us to feel safe in this world. Control. And control is the one thing that will continue to leave us trapped in this world. If you think that you are in control of this world, you will remain in some sort of a suffering state. And this isn't easy necessarily. I'm not saying letting go of control is easy. It's not. But what I am saying is that when you start allowing just the natural process of energy to transform you by letting go, by simply being in it, and not trying to change it, heal it, or fix it, but simply allowing the mechanics of physics do this for you, we're going to be in awe. We're going to be like, holy shit, we have made this so much more complicated than it needs to be. And I'm not saying don't go use these tools and techniques that people have. I'm not saying that. Do whatever you need to do to move you through your life. Do whatever feels right to you. Do whatever, all of it. I'm simply sharing that on a much deeper level and a much more raw level, when we simply allow the energy to transform us, that's when the patterns that continue to come up will stop coming up. They will, that reoccurring. I mean, how many of us have been like gone through something and then 5 years later it pops up again? 10 years later it pops up. You're like, where'd this come from? Because it isn't fully cleared out of your body. Why? Because an aspect of us tried to control the way we were going to heal. But all of the ways in which we are trying to, get through life is beautiful. We need them. We need to get through this with ease and grace. It can be very, very difficult to just be in what is. But that is the fastest way through. It truly is. And it's why it is so courageous to be on this human journey. You don't need to understand the repeated pattern. What if you stopped trying to understand the pattern and you just allowed yourself to feel the pattern? When we try to understand it, we're trying to grab it. We're trying to control it in some way or make sense of it. And that truly does create a suffering state, anxiety, stress. What if you stopped? Feel into this for a moment if you're somebody that's trying to understand the pattern. What if you stopped trying to understand it? What if you just allowed yourself to feel whatever was coming up around the pattern? There's a dropping in. If you really felt it right then, if you're somebody that does that, there's a dropping. You release. Your shoulders drop. You stop. There's a flow state you move into. If everything's energy, and these patterns are energy, and whatever's arising in front of you right now literally just needs to be felt, as intense as they are, as overarching as they may seem, as loud as they get, as controlling as they may feel. Can you remember that it is just energy moving through you that you need to stand in. Recognizing that it's not you as much as it is trying to tell you. I don't fight back. I never fight back. What is there to fight against? What would I be fighting against? I simply allow. And that is a much more courageous state to be in than to fight against or to fight back or to try to change. I don't try to change what's coming up. I just choose new ways of seeing myself or being. Very different. Unworthiness has been coming up for the last 3 weeks. I'm not trying to change unworthiness. That makes no sense to me. That's like an apple in front of you and being like, I'm going to change this apple to an orange. The fuck are you talking about? It's a fucking apple. Just see it as an apple. Big fucking deal. Unworthiness. I'm not going to change unworthiness into some sort of worthiness thought. I'm just going to see that unworthiness is coming up. Now, can I also start to hold a different version of me? Worth. I'm not changing unworthiness to worth. I'm not changing this. Do you understand the difference? If you try to change it, you're literally trying to negate it. Come on in. Hang out. Come in. Now what else can I hold while you're hanging out here being extremely annoying and not going anywhere? I'm not afraid. I'm going to start choosing to not believe you anymore. And I'm going to grab something else. What else can you start to grab, you guys? Don't try to change this. Just start grabbing new expressions of yourself and just let this be. Feel into that. Again, it's a very different energy. It's a very different energy. It is a letting go and surrendering and not trying to control. Any state of control, you will find yourself suffering in some way. So what is it that's popping in for you right now? What's coming in? What is it? Subtle things or not so subtle? I'm not worthy. Nobody's going to want to hear me. I don't deserve to be loved. I'm always going to be in lack. What are the thoughts? Let's hear them. Let's hear those things. Here they come. Okay. What we typically do is shut up. I don't want to hear you. You're not real. You're not true. You're just a thought. Blah, blah, blah. What if you did the opposite? Impatience, perfect. Grief is a whole different world. Grief is something that is a different, it's a different thing altogether. But whatever it is that's coming up, impatience, right? Okay. Here's impatience. Yep. Impatience. Yep. Impatience. Yep. All day long. Impatient. You're observing yourself and you're giving yourself permission to feel it. Frustrated. Perfect. Frustrated. I'm frustrated. I'm feeling frustration. Now, as you're feeling these things, anger, not good enough. Stand my ground. Fear of the future. Fear. Great. Look at what's coming up. Oh, fear of the future. Oh, unworthiness. I'm hurt. Just acknowledge what it is that you're attaching to. The reason that we don't want to acknowledge it, surrender to it, feel it, and allow it to just be is because we think it's going to stay forever. It's not. Anxiousness, uncertainty, anxiety. Here it is. Hanging out with me. Don't be afraid of it. Let it hang. Don't be afraid of it. Let it hang. Now, simultaneously, okay, what can you bring up alongside it? perhaps. For me, it's very difficult to bring up worthiness. Very difficult to bring up worthiness as I am transforming out of unworthiness. Brutal honesty, very difficult. And so if I can't bring in worthiness, which has been very difficult for me to bring in, then I just allow whatever it is to be felt by me. Again, I'm not trying to change this because I know that this doesn't stay. And I know that this is the gift, you guys. This is the transformation. Your anxiety, your stress, your fear of the future. You realize that if you have a fear of the future, you are trying to show yourself that you are trying to control your life. You're afraid of being safe in this world. You are being asked to feel safe. Your higher self, your soul, your spirit, your consciousness is saying to you, you deserve to feel safe on this planet. Fear of the future is a fear of being safe on this planet. Can you pull in, I'm safe? Nope, cannot pull that in. Cannot pull that in. Great, at least you know what's going on. You're not attaching to fear of the future. Anxiety, control. I'm feeling anxiety. I'm feeling anxiety. What is the anxiety asking you to see? It's asking you to see that you feel unsafe, that you need to control. That if you're not in a state of control, you are unsafe. So then you flip the coin. Do I feel safe in this world? Nope. Okay, great. Perfect. What a gift. What a gift. You don't feel safe. How brutally honest can you get with your experiences? How brutally honest can you get with yourself? Instead of saying, there's something wrong with me, I shouldn't be feeling anxiety. What the fuck are you talking about? Yes, you should. You're feeling it. What do you mean I shouldn't be feeling anxiety? There's something wrong with me. No, there isn't. There isn't anything wrong with what is popping up, because that is popping up is your greatest transformation. It's your greatest transformation. Stop trying to change it. Don't attach to it as if you are it, and don't make it wrong. Don't grab it though. Don't complain about it. Befriend it. Let it show you what it wants to show you. Let it transform you. But if you're one of those people that just keeps bitching and moaning and complaining about it, instead of just honoring it, instead of just allowing it to be so that it can transform you, that takes so much courage, because you have to let down your guard. You have to let down your sword. We don't like that. From the age of 0, we have learned that we have to be in some sort of a controlled state in order to get through this world. And I'm telling you that in your best, in your highest state of transformation, you burn it all from the inside. You stand in it and you burn it from the inside. Because you know that it's not you, and you know that it's transforming you. You know that it doesn't have the power. That's real transformation. That's real healing. And there's a lot of people that would say, you've lost your mind, you're crazy, this is not how it's done, you've got to take control. That's absolutely a paradigm, and that absolutely works up until a point. And then it becomes an energetic game. I'm speaking about the energetic game, not the mind control game. I don't give a shit about the mind control. Because energy is more powerful than the mind, but the mind can stunt your energetic transformation. That's why the mind is more powerful than the body. The body is designed to be the most powerful thing within you. But our mind is so freaking powerful that it will stop your evolution. It will stop your growth. It will stop your transformation. And you'll think that you're doing it. You'll think that you're evolving. You'll think that you're healing. But unless you have literally burned to these energies that you're trying to change, they will continue to come up. I guarantee you. Because this isn't a mind game. This isn't a control game. This is an energetic game. It always has been. It's always been an energetic game. And the only way that you play an energetic game is that you allow yourself to simply feel everything. The most powerful humans on the planet are the ones that are not afraid of what they are feeling. And if you're not afraid of what you're feeling, you're not trying to change it. You're not trying to control your emotions. You're not reacting to your emotions. You're not projecting your emotions. You're not being irresponsible with your emotions. You're simply in your own sovereign field feeling. This has always been an energetic game, an energetic world. Control plays no part in it. None. So throughout your day, just pay attention. Am I trying to control this? Am I trying to change this? Am I trying to fix this? It's okay, we're going to do it. Or am I simply allowing? Am I simply giving myself permission to have all the opinions about it, all the unlikes about it, all the frustration? Yeah. And then can I sit back and allow it? Can I sit back and allow it to transform me? That maybe, just maybe, you don't know anything, so that you can be shown everything. It's very possible that we truly know nothing, so that we can remember everything. And if you can sit back in that humbleness, and if you can sit back in the feeling of, what if I am truly safe to let all of these limiting beliefs come up, to let all of these uncomfortable emotions come up, to let all of these behaviors come up? What if I'm safe to allow it without trying to control it or change it? And by simply knowing that I'm safe to experience it and to feel it and to observe it, knowing that you're not it, that is your evolution. That is you shifting frequencies. That is you shifting vibrations. The biggest lie that we have been living in, well, there's many. One of them is that this world is complicated, that life is complicated, that it takes a lot of effort and steps, and it's the opposite. Life is easy. It's designed to be easy. It's designed for you to simply remember its energy, and it's an energetic game, and you are literally pulling yourself out of deep programming. And the programs are energy. The thoughts, emotions, beliefs, behaviors are energy. And it's by simply allowing the present moment to show you what you still believe you need to live in order for you to observe it and feel it, so that it can move through your body, so that you can stand in a more evolved, clear, aligned state of who you have always been. And it doesn't happen in the mind, and it doesn't happen in control. It happens in letting go, courageously surrendering to what is, and giving yourself permission to feel everything, including this isn't fair, this sucks, I hate this, etc. And when you do this, you free the entire world. You free the world by freeing yourself. The more you try to control yourself, the more you're going to try to control the world. The more you resist what's happening inside of you, the more you're going to resist what's happening out there. That's how we do it. I love you guys. Thanks for being here. Have a great rest of your morning, afternoon, or evening. And I will save this. It'll be on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Much love to you guys.